but I'm going to live stream it so that way it will record a copy for us. And then that way we'll have a copy of it here. I'm also going to share this screen. Can everyone see the agenda?
Yes.
Okay. And then if you need to use the screen, just let me and I'll stop sharing.
That's awesome. We'll give people just one more minute or, oh, wait, I think it just turned 6. So let's start. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, everybody, for logging on to the final music parents meeting of the year. It's awesome to see everyone here. There are some wonderful new faces out there. We're so glad you joined us this evening. Welcome. Feel free to use the chat or just unmute and ask questions along as you have questions. That would be fantastic. So I know that Tina just got here, I believe, but I don't think, yay, hi Tina, but I don't think the minutes are cooperating. Am I right?
No, my computer died, so I'll fix it and pull them up so you'll get them late. And then I have pen and paper. We're going old school now.
That's awesome.
Ready?
Thank you. Yeah, no worries. We can look at minutes later. John couldn't be here tonight, but he did send a treasurer's report for the month. Are you able to pull that up, Mr. Cannon? Or I can share it if not.
Yeah, if you want to share, because I don't think I have a copy of that unless I'm missing it here.
Sure. If you want to let me share, I can share that with everybody.
Sure, you should be able to share here.
And so close, so close. Wrong one, but really close. There we go. All right. So it looks like at the end of April, we had a balance of $7,794.99. The expenses were the domain for GoDaddy of $21.17, our nonprofit application fee for $275, and the year-end awards for $1,095.31. So the total expenses are there, and that leaves us with an ending balance currently of $6,403.51. Any questions or comments over that?
Did we mark that GoDaddy fee as a reoccurring fee?
I will make a note and make sure that we did.
And the headphones aren't on this expenses, or am I missing it?
They were, no, because they came through in May. So at the close of his last month end, they were not there. That was 1,000, I'm sorry, off the top of my head, $213, I believe, was the total on that. Really close to that. If that's not the exact number, it's very close. Okay.
So the two,
performing art shirts.
And the 5th grade shirts.
yeah, so the two outstanding expenses that are not on here, if I remember correctly, would be the shirts and the headsets, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Is there any other outstanding expenses that are not on this?
Not that I am aware of, no. Those are the only two that went through. Good. Okay, then I'll stop sharing that one so Mr. Cannon can share again. Thank you. And I saw Mr. Smith here. Do we have a beginning band and orchestra update?
Yeah, so well, I guess the biggest update is that Mr. Mendez will be transferring to the middle school next year, and Mr. Cannon will be transferring back down to 5th grade beginning band. So that's probably our biggest news. on top of that, we are in full recruitment mode. Tomorrow is our rental night. We've been trying to push out as much as we can. We went to our final fourth grade classroom today. That was number 20 out of 20. We've sent home numerous emails. We sent out a flyer. I sent out an email to principals, secretaries, and Dean Konstantopoulos to send out a flyer about our rental night tomorrow. So hopefully we're good to go on that front. So other than that, yeah, we're in pretty good shape.
Mark, you're up to 29 for tomorrow. I just looked.
Hey, let's go.
How many we had so far? Sign up. What's our count now?
29 for tomorrow so far.
Oh, that's it? 29?
Yes. Well, that's just since Friday. That's all we've had because we had to redo the link since Friday.
Okay.
So that's 29 signups since Friday.
Okay.
I know when we did it in October, we had like over half of our people sign up the day of.
Yeah, that's why we did a big push this afternoon. Try to put anything that we can on social media, Remind, Seesaw, anything the teachers, the principals, secretaries, whatever they use to kind of push out. I think I included on the music parents email one of those. So if we wanted to do something with music parents as well, I did JPEG, PDF, and NPG or whatever that other one is. I tried to think of all the different formats we could send a flyer out. So do with it whatever you can so that we have as many families there tomorrow.
We can add to make sure it's on our Facebook page. We can make sure it got out to ASD4 families and Addison E-group. We can make sure that it's been posted there and repost and like, and we'll check on those this evening.
I did see it on Facebook. I'm thinking it was from the district that I saw it.
Yeah, they pushed out the flyer again. Do you want me to post, Mark, in chat the link to the event?
Sure.
Yes, that's awesome.
Just so everyone has it, there's the link to the event.
We also have a Google slide presentation. We could also send that out. It has a link. It has our registration links for next year, as well as the Calendly link and links to QNF, all pricing information, as well as some common questions we got when we were going around to our fourth grade classroom. So I will look for that, but yes.
Is that the one you just sent today, Mark?
Yeah, if it's the Google slide presentation, that one. Perfect.
Ta-da.
Yes, Mr. K.
Awesome. And what time is that tomorrow?
4 to 8 p.m.
And they sign up for 15-minute slots.
Yep. They will enter door 2 or door 8, I think it is, Mr. Cannon, gym 2. I mean, one of the directors will probably be outside trying to direct as many people as possible, but yeah.
Yeah, we go in door 2 and there's like an actual external door right there in the corner of gym 2. We just opened that. So it's right next to door 8.
Great. Does anyone have any questions about the recruitment, or is there anything else besides a social media push that we can do for you guys?
I would like to say again a big, huge thank you for our T-shirts. I can't tell you the amount of positive responses I've gotten from students, but also from the teachers, because we gave one to each of the 5th grade teachers and principals, and a lot of them are just so ecstatic to get it. They've been wearing it every week, trying to help us get these recruitment numbers up, as well as encouraging our 5th graders to go on up to the middle school. So they wanted to send their thanks as well. So thank you very much.
Awesome. That's great. I'm glad that it's being positive. All right, next down, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Manent couldn't be here, and he did send a quick blurb via email here. He just wanted to make a brief statement regarding the switch with himself and Mr. Cannon. Mr. Minute said, "I'm super excited to get to graduate with the 5th graders into the junior high and make music with all of the junior high students. I'm very excited to see the growth over the course of the next year." So I want to make sure I shared that with everybody. And then moving on to band, choir, and orchestra updates from IT.
I guess I'll go first then. I'll just speak on my side. We are getting ready for a remodel in our performing arts wing, which we're very excited about. So we've been packing things up, and the kids and I have enjoyed doing some different things these last couple of weeks. Right now we're starting a musical unit, so we've really been enjoying that, talking about musical theater and how it's different than other theaters. So that's been really fun. Looking forward to having a little break for the summer and then getting back to it in the fall.
Thank you, Mr. Tankersley. Ms. Toiko or Mr. Cannon?
Orchestra Land is packing up. We just wrapped up playing. The kids were having a week of essentially student choice where they got to pick which pieces we played. There was a lot of fancy fiddles, which was a little rough, but they had fun. So it was nice to end on something that they really enjoyed. This next week, we've got a choice board that we're doing. We're going to have some fun rhythm games and rhythm activities towards the end of the week, as well as the students are going to make their own pixel art activity to share with a friend. So some interesting technology things coming up, which hopefully they work.
In Bandland, we just finished our My Musical Life project, which students picked 10 events from their life and then kind of chose their own musical soundtrack. It seemed to go over really well with a lot of the students, and they like kind of expressing their own music and showing kind of some of the music they listen to. During that time, we kind of packed everything up in Bandland, so everything is kind of put away at the moment, and it looks a little bit bare in the band room. And then this week we are going to finish that up, or finishing up our Breezing Through Theory assignments tomorrow and on Wednesday. And then we're going to spend the later part of the week playing Among Us, or the band version of Among Us with rhythms, and then doing some composition stuff. So just some kind of fun stuff. And then next week we're going to start our stomp unit and just kind of have some fun making music towards the end of the year.
Awesome. I know it's been a very long year, and for all of you, we really appreciate everything you've done to keep our kids engaged and excited about creating music in whatever way could happen this year. So thank you guys for all of that in all areas. Any questions for any of the directors before we go on for old business? I don't see any. Okay. We are still interested in looking for a volunteer who would be interested in taking over some of the social media and Remind and website duties for the music parents. So if you are someone that would enjoy that, or you know someone who might be really good at that, please reach out to the directors and they can get you in touch with how we could set you up to help us out with that. That would be fantastic. Eileen, do we have any updates on our tax exempt status?
Oh, sadly, no. So I called the IRS number that's on the website to check on the status. And after 5 menus, I received a message that said, oh, this is not the right number. And it said, oh, you have to call this other number. And then I called the other number and went through 5 menus. And then it said, we're really busy today and we don't have anyone to talk to. And then it hung up on me. So I'm not really sure the process, how long the process might take for me to get through to human. It said, call back tomorrow. So I'm going to try to just kind of make myself a note to call it, 11 o'clock every day or something like that, and just see if I can get through. There is the website has not been updated. It says that our application was accepted, but there's no update to that status. So I'm thinking that means they haven't even looked at it yet. That would not surprise me. But I will keep persisting and calling and see if I can get more information out of them. I have no idea what the turnaround is for something like this. So I think we just have to keep kind of at them until we hear something. Are you guys planning on meeting over the summer?
Not at this point. If we need to, we can definitely set something up if you get more information that we need to deal with,
Okay. I'll just plan on sending out an email then as soon as I find something out, since this is our last meeting. So as soon as I hear, I will let you know.
We probably won't hear from them through the summer. They're busy.
Well, I'm really hoping that's not true. I mean, it's not a school organization, like they should be working in the summer, but hey,
Yeah.
now that I at least have the right number to call and I can cut 5 menus off of the call task, maybe it won't be quite so cumbersome. So I'll just, like I said, I'll just leave myself a note. And every time I'm sitting at my desk during the day, I'll just try to give them a call and we'll see what happens.
As we've said before, thank you for taking on that huge project. I know vastly time consuming and it's greatly appreciated. So thanks for continuing.
No problem. I will persevere. I feel like I did the application. That was the hard part. The phone calling is not as difficult. So hopefully they'll come through for us.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
I went to IT today and picked up a whole bunch of boxes for the music parents stuff that was in storage there. So that's out of the way for their summer remodeling project. And I think there's an inventory list that Mr. Cannon's going to put in our shared drive folder. And then I will compare that list and, make sure everything is still good and ready to go and bring it, ready to go for the fall, hopefully with being used. If there's a lot of paper goods, supplies for contests, decorations, just tons of stuff that's currently getting shifted up 3 flights of stairs. So my husband's so happy to be moving all those boxes. Oh, and thank you, Mr. Tankersley. So we are hosting solo and ensemble next year. Thank you, Mr. Tankersley. We already know that. Yeah. What time of year is that, Mr. Tankersley?
Usually it's in February.
Okay.
I have a date. I can get a date. If we can keep going, I will put date in the chat.
Awesome. Thank you. So that'll be a big one.
Actually, I think I lied. IGMA they're still working out the dates for these events, but they are planning to do in-person contest performances and solo ensemble. I think the last that Kim Ferris sent an email.
Exciting. Very, very exciting. Great. Yeah. As you get more information, share that and we'll make sure that we are ready to help you guys with everything involved with that. 8th grade gifts. They came in. I picked those up today also. I brought them home so I can get them bagged up, nice little gifts. I don't know how well you can see in this camera. They come in these little baggies like this, and they're just a very nice microphone headset combo. I feel like I lean with the 5 and 6 menus to go through. I checked with 8 vendors to try to find another model that we had first looked at. And after the 8th one, I realized we can't get the quantity we need of the one. They're just not, they're back ordered. The shipment dates were August, some were December. So I was like, okay, so we worked really quickly and found a very comparable model. It's got the movable microphone. It's got the on-off toggles for the microphone with the headset, and it has the USB port, so it's compatible with their Chromebooks. So it checked off all the same elements. So we'll get those and these cute little cards that have a little saying congratulating our 8th graders and what this gift is from the music parents. So we'll put that all together and the directors will hand those out to 8th graders at the end of the year. Any questions on those?
So the team provided the date. They found Saturday, February 26th, the Phone Ensemble. That'll be 2022.
February 26th. Wow, 2022 sounds so far away. And it's not.
Also, I found that bin inventory and uploaded it to our shared drive under inventories. So it will be there for whenever you feel like diving into that project.
Perfect. Sooner rather than later. We'll get that done. Awesome. It's pretty well, I mean, it's the boxes and everything. I can tell someone's gone through them. They're very organized. Like things aren't just thrown together.
Yeah,
It's like,
thank you, Miss Mitchell and Miss Santini or Mrs. Santini for that one, because they completely, it was not like that before, and they went through and made it very nice and organized. So thank you to those lovely ladies for that before. So
yay. We're consolidating a couple boxes. Like we've got cups and lids that can fit in one. So hey, if it's one less box to move, hooray.
and you don't want like a 4-year-old bottle of Coca-Cola in there. And
No, I haven't even found that yet, but we'll be anxiously waiting to find that one. I have not opened everything, just kind of did a quick perusal to get those there. So I think we're good with all of that. So we can go on to new business. I don't know if everyone is familiar with the Diane's Foundation. Usually we have always done a donation for that, and I'd like to make sure that happens again this year. Does one of the directors want to fill everybody in on what that is? Maybe Ms. Toika or anyone?
So the Diane Morrill Foundation was set up last year after Diane had passed. It is a fund to help support the orchestra program and provide assistance to students who otherwise would not be able to participate in the program. So that includes purchasing some instruments for scholarships, as well as like some other supplies and things like that. Just as a way to really make sure that if a student would like to have the opportunity in orchestra, they are given that opportunity.
Thank you, Ms. Toika. That's awesome. I believe that we have set a $500 amount for each year to continue contributing to that. I, of course, don't have the budget in front of me or know where that is at this moment. Does that dollar amount sound right to anyone that remembers?
Yeah, that was it, $500.
Thank you, Tina. Could we have a motion to, or do we have to motion if it's in the budget?
We already motioned to put it in the budget at $500 last time.
So we don't, so we just need to make
Right.
sure Ron gets that payable.
Mhm.
Toika, do you know where that goes?
I believe I have the information in an email somewhere.
It goes to
I would-
District 4, but you have to make sure you put her name on the memo line so that it gets to the right account.
And it had been going to Mr. Wortman.
Correct.
And so I don't know for sure if after July 1st, if then it goes to Dr. Losi, that would be my guess. But hopefully we can maybe get it in before then, so we don't have to worry about that.
Right. Is it okay if I put John in touch with you to make sure that happens and gets where it needs to go?
For sure.
Thank you. Let's see. Oh, and then we had talked last time briefly about grants or other funding for student fees or instrument acquisition if there's not, if a student is unable to participate due to financial considerations, and are there means and things out there to help with that? We had kind of started discussing that. I don't know if anyone looked into different things. If you click on that blue link there, Mr. Cannon, it should pop up with a shareable document. There are several like national grants, which are of course harder to get and have a lot of stipulations a lot of times that go along with them. I think there's 4 or 5 that I did throw together just as a resource document to get a ball rolling with some information. The Fender Music Foundation is one where I believe you have to be a Title I school in order for them to be considered. The Hungry for Music program doesn't have as many regulations. They take donated instruments, make sure they're playable and in good condition, and then get those to kids who otherwise would not be able to have an instrument. And all of these have website links attached to them, and how you would apply for that grant and how that program works is all on all of those different websites. There's VH1 Save the Music. I don't remember all of them off the top of my head, and I'm having trouble reading them, but that's just kind of a resource list to start us out if we want to pursue looking at these, if directors need more information.
Well, I know from previous experience that our district does not qualify for the Mr. Holland's Opus Foundation or the VH1 Save the Music Foundation, because we have applied for those in the past and we do not qualify for based on our demographic for our district. At least when we applied 3 years ago, we were told we did not qualify for them.
You know, though, I think our status has changed because I think we are Title I now and we weren't 3 years ago. So it might be worth looking into.
So yeah, we could try again.
Yeah, we are Title I now. We've been for maybe 2 years now.
Okay, so yeah, we can try those again. Diario has definitely helped us out in years past with instruments and reeds. They actually sent the beginning band like a whole ton of reeds in the past, specifically for our beginning band program kids to use. So, but
That's awesome
to start.
Yeah, this is just a preliminary source, and like I said, most of these are national. You know, they're nationwide. Sometimes that's helpful, sometimes that's not helpful. As far as local ones, I didn't take time to go there yet. So if that's something that you guys need more research or information on, be glad to do that.
Yeah, and from my perspective, when I brought it up a couple of weeks ago, it was more to cover the enrollment fee more than the instruments. I mean, we have enough instruments right now to cover the needs of the students, at least from the band side of things. I have enough instruments to cover the needs of the students. The thing I don't necessarily have, the Diane Memorial Fund can cover some of the costs if needed for financial hardship for students to enter the program, but we don't have anything for choir or band that will do the same thing. So
what about the District 4 Foundation? Can we ask them for grant money for that?
we can, but the problem is that is always at the end of the year, and they collect fees at the beginning of the year, and we're limited to $500. So if we're talking about beginner band kids, that limits me to 5 kids that I can bring in, and usually they award money based on the maximum amount of kids that they can affect with that amount of money. So in the past, when we've tried to do those grants, at least when I've tried to do those grants, they've told me that they've awarded them to the ones that can have the higher impact on the most kids.
Just a question on the fees chart associated with music groups, because I don't know how it works for ASD 4. If a family would qualify for free or reduced, lunch or registration or all those other things, if they qualify, does that affect the music?
Currently their fee stays the same.
Currently their fee stays the same. And
that's something we've asked multiple times in the past, and that nothing has been done about that currently.
That seems like something maybe we could bring up and discuss again, maybe, and try to understand why that wouldn't apply for the music fees also.
I don't know if any of the other directors remember why we were told they didn't apply, but I don't remember offhand. Keith, do you remember, or Cindy, do you remember?
Well, I do know that it was kind of mentioned again in the meeting we had for the Diane Memorial, like the Diane Memorial Fund. We had kind of mentioned that again and brought it back to their attention. But I don't think there's anything like set in stone about them looking to move forward with anything.
Yeah, I just want to chime in and offer my 2 cents. I agree with what my colleagues are saying. You know, I think that we would love to. There are some instances doesn't happen, you know, way too often. But there are instances where I've had kids say, you know, I really want to do it, or I want to do choir next year, but my mom says the fee is too much. So I know that through Skyward, Adrian Velasco in the front office can set up a payment plan with the families. I think that that's helpful. I think that, but that getting them to know that, there seems to be a disconnect from the front office end and the parent end. But I think being able to say, hey, we could subsidize a portion of the fee, maybe not pay the whole fee, but give you, you know, some money that goes towards it to knock off that amount, especially for the 5th graders, so that we can get those students in, playing in our programs, getting them to experience it. And then, you know, the fee goes down in their middle school years. I think that that might be something that we would be interested in getting some support on from music parents.
And the focus of the Diane Memorial like funds in terms of helping to assist with registration fees is primarily focused more towards the 5th grade program, because that fee is so steep and it's such a barrier immediately when they go to sign up. $100 is a scary amount. And so I know our focus is getting that with the beginner program more than focusing here at the junior high.
Yeah, you'd want to eliminate barriers to get them started for sure. Definitely. Absolutely. So music parents, you know, officers and parents, I mean, it seems like if we have a reduced fee program for schools, that should apply to all programs. It shouldn't eliminate the music one. Do you have thoughts on that, parents?
Do we actually know what that fee is supposedly paying for?
I've been here, this is my 5th year or 6th year. We've asked every year and gotten a different answer every year.
Right, because I don't feel like we've ever gotten an answer. I mean, I feel like if we actually knew what it was paying for, there might be a way to subsidize it in some fashion, but I don't know what it actually pays for.
I know.
Last year, Mr. Langton came in for one of our music parent meetings at the end of last school year, and his wording, I believe, was that it was going towards the cost of running a program, but we were not necessarily given any specifics other than that.
I know at one meeting, I believe Mr. Langton, you know, came to one of our music parent meetings and discussed that directly with us one time. And one of his comments I remember was that the fee is, as Ms. Toyka just said, to help with the cost of running the program, because his example was at the junior high level, if the students aren't in band or choir or orchestra, they have to be somewhere because it happens during the school day. So he has to have enough teachers to accommodate the students for every period, and it doesn't really apply as much to the running at the junior high as it does at the elementary, because the staff, the music programs are happening outside of the school day for meeting with the ensembles. And that's extra staff that's not already seeing students. So his kind of definition to us at that time was that it is more, as you said, going to the expense of the beginner program. Because if students weren't in band, choir, or orchestra during the day at IT, is that making sense what I'm saying? He would have to have enough staff to cover those students in classes somewhere.
So those 29 students are paying for 2 salaries?
So basically that means they're paying the teachers to do after school rehearsals for beginning band? Is that what you mean? Like outside of the school day? Whereas
So-
the junior high program takes place during the school day?
Well, according to Title I, you can't use student fees to pay salaries. So that can't be
Right.
what
Well,
he was
that's kind of
insinuating.
why I'm asking the question. See, this
And
is why
that's
I feel like we need to nail this down, because there may be programs to subsidize these fees if we actually know what they're for.
Right. And I think there's a very gray area in what the district is using it for, which is why we get those definitions of it's running the program that's outside of the school day. But it can't say that it's the salaries for the teachers to cover that, because you're right. You know, the school budget is very defined on where monies can be spent.
I mean, right. I mean, is there a rental fee to rent the band room after hours? Like what are those costs that are after school? Because it doesn't seem to me like that makes a lot of sense.
And perhaps, you know, I think the only one who can truly answer that is Mr. Langton. And I think he has been, you know, he's talked to the directors, he came to our meeting. But I still think it's about as clear as mud for exactly how that ends up playing out. And
But maybe we just ask him point blank that, is there a way that we can get a subsidy or something for those students who are already receiving them for their registration, so that this enhancement to their learning experience isn't taken away?
Yes, I like that. I think that's a great idea. And if we can't do that, then the next question for me would be, can you explain to us what those fees are used for so that we can apply for grants from organizations that will help us to pay those costs? Because they have to be out there. I mean, I can't imagine there aren't programs for a lot of things besides instruments, since that doesn't seem to be the concern, at least right now.
I mean, I guess is it? I'm not playing a motion out there, but I'm asking music parents: is it possible? Is there maybe like a set amount that we could put in the budget for if we have a situation where a student approaches us with a hardship, that we could direct them to the music parents or ask for them to pay a portion or the full balance of this fee? I mean,
Well-
is that something that we are thinking about?
I don't think there's any problem with that, but I think that budgeting happens right now. I mean, I think if that's the case, we got to have a budget over the summer where we look at the coming year, how much fundraising we think we're going to be able to do, what the costs are, and we put in a number for that.
And then also too, we have to have like a cutoff date. And then how much, so are we going to, is it going to be like 100% or are you going to say, okay, by registration? And then we look at, you know, we got 10 people, we just divide that number up. So I think it's doable. As Eileen said, if we can figure out, put it in the budget, but then we have to have stipulations on how we're going to divvy that out, how much you're going to get. And also too, if the district can cover, if the district can subsidize some and then we can subsidize the rest, then.
And we would need to set like stipulations, procedures, who qualifies at what rate, you know. It seems,
I would say, you just asked, beginning performing arts or middle school. I kind of want to help everyone, but that beginning performing arts is pretty steep. It's double, right? Because it's only $50 once we hit middle school, which is still can be expensive for some. So, you know,
and also,
I guess it depends on what the requests are. So like we would open to all, but where are your requests coming from? And then how are we going to figure out what we're going to do?
Yeah, I think it's
And-
a good idea to go to district and kind of say, if the music parents are subsidizing this, do we get a discount? Because it seems to me that there could be some sharing of that cost if we're gonna, you know, if we're gonna do it that way.
That
So
would,
let's-
that's right there. If the music parents is subsidizing they kind of meet us halfway and then like they match,
Right.
you know?
that's what I'm thinking is we make that, like, we'll help out with it, but, we also, because ostensibly these are kids who are already qualifying for free and reduced for other fees. So, I mean, it seems reasonable that we should be able to have a reduced fee.
Would you suggest that we start that conversation with Mr. Langton? Or is there someone we need to, is there someone we would need to have that conversation with first before going to Mr. Langton?
Well, our conversation regarding how we were going to use the memorial funds for Diane was with Mr. Wortman. So I don't know if, because he was in on that conversation, we kind of discussed how we were going to sort of identify who would qualify and things like that. That was kind of what the meeting was about. I don't know if he would be a good place to start based on conversations he may have had with Mrs. Grabowski since then.
I know the Board of Education sets all fees. So I think Chuck, anything that would then have to be introduced would have to go through Chuck Wortman first, because it would have to be proposals to the board, and Chuck writes all the proposals to the board. So I think you'd have to go through Mr. Wortman first to have a proposal to the board.
Okay.
So-
And then from there, Chuck would probably be able to direct you to who you would need to talk to.
Okay. Oops, sorry. So we can start with some email contact with Mr. Wortman and see if we can set up a time to have that discussion about the fees and subsidizing the fees and what that could potentially look like. Take our first steps and try to have something in place to help for the fall. And I agree that it seems, I mean, the beginning program has the most expense simply because they're also renting their instruments for the first time or purchasing. And so there's a lot of fees when you first start out, getting books and stands and et cetera.
The only thing I would say to keep in mind though, oh, sorry, Mark, go ahead.
Is say one win that has come out of the pandemic is that students no longer have to pay that fee at rental night. So students used to actually have to bring payment to the rental night as well as payment for rentals. So that was kind of overwhelming. So this year, I think it's been, well, at least we've been communicating with the students that they will not have to pay the district fee until the fall when we have our rosters secured. So the only thing they have to do on rental night is if they choose to pay for a rental and the starter kits and all that fun stuff.
I was
Oh,
gonna say,
that's good.
I was going to say the only thing to keep in mind, even though the beginning fee is more steep, it's $100 for the choir kids. There is no beginning fee other than the $50. So for them, that $50 is a huge fee. So keep that in mind too. That for the choir kids, that is a big fee.
Mhm.
So don't. I would just say if you're going to do it for the beginning performing arts, don't forget about the fact that the choir does start at the junior high.
I thought there was choir in middle school or in fifth grade also. Is that just local to each schools?
That's up to the discretion of the general music teachers if they have a choir. or not.
Okay, I'm sorry. Oh, no, I
It's
think,
like
yeah,
a-
this is to go
it's
across
like
the board.
it's like an after school club. Like I know Chris Brokos at Stone does something after school, and Elise Willis does something after school, and it just depends on who shows up and some, so it's not like a unified thing like beginning performing arts is.
Okay. No, I agree. Whatever we do it has to be across the board for all.
I will start an email with Mr. Wortman to try to get some information, let him know, our questions and see if he would be open to setting up a Zoom conversation. Mr. Tankersley, would you be as serving head of the performing arts, would you be involved with that conversation along with the officers from Music Parents? Would that be the right course to go?
I mean, I would be more than happy to, and Mr. Ortman loves talking to me. but I would also gladly invite the other directors as well. But I mean, I'm happy to take that on.
As just an initial starting point. I think then we would want everyone's input as that progressed, but just as an initial starting point.
I guess that we reiterate just what we want to use these new grants for, just so that we're not expanding too far from the Diane Moore Memorial Funds and the purpose of that, or are we going to have to expand what we use Diane's Memorial Fund for? I mean, I don't know. That's just what's going on in my mind. So wanted to bring that forward here too.
Right, and her memorial fund is controlled by the district, not the music parents in any way. So that is controlled, well, I guess by the district, who actually does control that one.
Well, it goes through, yeah. So go ahead, Cindy.
District is kind of the one ultimately that, you know, would accept the checks or write the checks. They kind of have the final say, but there is a lot of director discretion with that one as well. Like if we need an instrument for somebody, we can bring it to district. I know that part of our discussion with the Diane Memorial Fund was also just about making sure that we have the longevity of it. And we didn't want to create a situation where, you know, we were having this big increase in orchestra because people found out orchestra would be free where the other programs weren't, which is part of why we limited it just to the beginning program. And it's just to help with the fee, not to fully cover it. So I think, I mean, it's getting a little, you know, either we have to try to convince district to let us use these Diane funds more generously, or we have to maybe kind of start smaller and then work on increasing exactly what we can subsidize. If that makes any sense. My brain is very tired today.
That makes sense. We do not want it to turn into something that depletes another foundation. Absolutely. Good. Other comments there?
I appreciate your openness and willingness to help our students and making sure that there's no barriers for their entrance. So thank you all very much for being open to this conversation.
Yeah, that's number one right there. We want to give this experience to as many kids as we can. You guys do great. We want them there so they can experience what you provide for them. So, is there any other new business this evening?
No, so the beginning band kids had their, I just want to tell you as a mom, they had their end of the year little shindig, and my little music person had a blast. We got her back and she's super excited to keep going. So I love those blurbs that you send out about what they should be doing like over the summer. If you can send out maybe, I don't know, at the end of the year, maybe midsummer, just like a checkup, make sure that they're, I don't know, but they're great. They're awesome. Keeps us as parents on top of things, and they'll be raring to go when they hit middle school.
Awesome. Very good. I know that usually the directors get the meeting dates sometime over the summer. So we'll announce our first meeting when they know when that.
We have them. How do you want them, Ms. Halsa? Do you want me to email them to you? Or...
Yeah, we can do an email blast out. Do you know the first date?
I do. I just don't have it pulled up. If any of my colleagues have it up already, feel free. Oh, no, wait. I do have it. Monday, September 27th.
Monday, September 27th at 6. And the question has already been raised of if meetings are allowed to be in person, do we want to have our music parent meetings in person or Zoom or a combination and what is the preference of everyone?
I personally am in favor of Zoom because I have a wee little one who I live very far away and I get to see him more when I'm at home.
I'm gonna say I like Zoom too because as you can tell, I'm sitting in my car at my child's activity. I know it's a disconnect. I'm sorry, but I maybe offer both. But I like Zoom.
Would people be open to the suggestion of having the first one as a hybrid? Having it and then see where we go from there. I don't think we have to make a year-long commitment to one format or the other necessarily. So perhaps we could have it in person and over Zoom and still send it out on YouTube like we've done. The live stream on YouTube, maybe this is going to be just a great opportunity to everybody likes Zoom, we'll switch. That's great. But maybe our first one could be like a hybrid. Thoughts?
I'm fine with that.
Okay, so our first meeting will be September 27th at 6 p.m. Hybrid at IT and over Zoom. Great. If there's not anything else, we can adjourn, and thank you all for your time this evening. We'll be in touch as we hear from Mr. Wortman regarding steps to talk about subsidizing the fees, what those fees are for, how we might be able to help students that feel a barrier.
Thank you all for your time tonight.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Have a nice night.
Goodbye.
Thanks.
Bye.